Now, SPRING50, what exactly is it? It sounds really nice, SPRING50. But to be a little more clear, it's 50 startups that come from 50 different Paris-Saclay golden nuggets. And of these 50, 10 were selected, 10 were chosen to make their pitch here, right through the day. So they might win a prize. So you're not just spectators, you're also going to be involved in voting for them. The pitch that appears to be the most convincing. And so that way, one of these startups will receive a prize, which would be your impulsive, your heartfelt desire to vote for someone. That will win at the end of the day. There'll be another one which will be provided by the industrial or manufacturers and investors jury or panel. So both these prizes will be given this evening. So we'll be talking to the green tech companies. They've only got 3 minutes. It's Neolithe, that green tech that'll start get the ball reeling. So non-recyclable waste into granular to make a decarbonated cement. Over to you. Where is he? Ah, here he is. Here he is. So you've got 3 minutes, you know that, not more than that, and then at the end of it, it's all over.
Oui, vous l'aviez? Non. Je vais vous la chercher. Vous pouvez commencer.
You can get going if you like. Well, good morning, everybody. My name is Nicolas. I am CEO of Neolithe and co-founder. Neolithe was set up 2 years ago, and now there are about 20 of us working here. Now, at Neolithe, we make granular like this one. So these little pebbles have the same mechanical resistance as a pebble and the same inert characteristics, except that they have a superpower. They can reduce by 5% the total GHG in the world. 5% is a lot when you think about it. And now it's roughly 2.5 times the GHG that is related to air transport in the world. So the secret is that this is not a stone that comes from a quarry, but it is made from non-recyclable waste. And that's what we do at Neolithe. We transform all your waste into stone. Now, today, when your household rubbish is collected or industrial waste is collected, it's non-recyclable. So it's either got to be in a landfill or incinerated, and all that leads to a lot of CO2 pollution. Plus, it also leads to a loss of matter. Now, with Neolithe, the idea is to use exactly the same mixture of waste, plastic, organic, wood, isolating insulation material, anything that you find in a bin, and transform it into mineral granulate, which has exactly the same features and can be used for construction to make roads, for instance, and cement. So we have a fossilizer, which is a small modular waste treatment plant, which you can put directly on a selection center. And so it treats the entering waste, and within a few hours can make it into a granular. So, for instance, construction waste, plastic, pallets, etc., insulation material, and within 18 months, we should be able to do household waste. So that's literally the bin that you have in your kitchen. We can transform that into granules. Now, the idea is to use it on 100% for all the landfills and the incinerated waste and reduce the carbon imprint, because literally what we are doing is burning tires for electricity, and that's not the best way of doing things. But we'll be reducing the need for new digging of quarries, right? It's a local system for waste treatment. We will not be running 300 kilometers to look for all the waste. And what's more important is that this is a solution which is worth as much as landfilling and incineration. So it's not more expensive to be ecological, and that's extremely important for all the economic players here in this area. Now, at Neolithe, we are the equipment providers, and we give you the link also that makes the process. Tell me about we are 20 in our team, and our management team is extremely young. We are 3 founders, my father, Clement, and myself. My father invented the process, and my time's up. And there you are. So we are on marketing now, and we'll soon be on the market. Thank you. Thank you very much. Anyway, you finished with your father, so you finished on a wonderful note. That's perfect in terms of time. To Neolithe today, you have raised a lot of funds, which is really important for all cement manufacturers. We all know how important it is today when it comes to CO2 and CO2 emissions today, and it's part of the decarbonation plant in general. So how far do you stand today with your industrialists for concrete and concrete development? Well, we've got 2.5 million so far in terms of funds, and what purpose will it help you do? It'll help us to complete the R&D in the industrialization of our process. We've got this industrial pilot site, which is going to treat 20 tons of waste per day, process it, and the idea is by middle of next year to market our 8 first fossilizers. So by 2022, we should be able to sell at least fossilizers to people who work in building and construction, and also to municipalities to work on their own household waste. So you're making a lot of progress already with industrialists and building and construction works. Well, we haven't signed anything down, but we are very close to certain building and construction industrialists. Eiffage has been with us for some time now. It's been helping us. They've been extremely motivated to use our technology for new kind of concrete, so we thank them very much for that. Well, thanks very much, and if you like, you can vote for the pitch and the presentation of Nicolas for Neolithe and what he talked about. Please go ahead and do it. You can start voting even now. Thank you very much, Nicolas, and hope to see you soon. Now, another startup for a new pitch. Spark for hydrogen, decarbonated hydrogen development, very fundamental. Erwan, PANNIER, over to you. You've got 3 minutes to talk about it. There you are. There you are. Over to you. Talk to us about your startup. Well, good morning. My name is Erwan, and I'm going to talk to you about hydrogen. Now, hydrogen is the fuel for tomorrow's mobility. In other words, trucks and buses. And in fact, today, this hydrogen is everywhere. It's in chemistry, it's in industry, it's in fertilizers, it's all hydrogen. And this hydrogen has 3 main problems. Firstly, it's made from gas via a process which emits a lot of CO2, so that's as much as the aerian sector. So if you want to electrify it, you need 10 gigawatts in France in 2030 with the present water electrolysis innovation. That means 10 new nuclear power stations. Plus, you can't carry it easily, hydrogen. That's very expensive for decentralized factories to use it. It's virtually 2/3 of the total cost. So Spark is here to develop hydrogen plants, which is decarbonized, which uses low consumption of electricity, and which is decentralized. That's why we use gas either from piped gas or biogas, because that's 3 times less energy than in a water molecule. So an ideal electrolyzer is 40 kilowatt hour of Now, what's carbon doing in all this? We will extract it in the solid form. That's called pyrolysis, and through pyrolysis we are at zero emission of CO2, and this is done through cold plasma reactors. So you use these very short pulses to control temperature and to optimize the reaction. So So this enables us to produce on-site right up to 2 kilojoules, 2,000 kilojoules, and which is sold at €7 a kilo. So we can meet the needs of present industrialists, with the decentralized bit that you see, the 15% that you see, that's worth about 80 billion. And in the future, we will be perfectly positioned for uses in petrol pumps, which are necessarily decentralized or state. Now, for my project, I worked with Thérèse, with whom we share this desire to develop impactful technology, and Moises, who lent us his design and his reactor and plasma generating design. Today we are developing in this program the elementary module, which we are optimizing, and in the future we would like to upscale it, and so that's why we are looking for an industrial partner who would be doing some development in order to make the demonstrator, which would be 1/3 of the total Spark system. Thank you. Right, your time's up, and thank you so much. That was perfectly timed. Thanks very much, Erwan PANNIER. It was very interesting what you were telling us about hydrogen. It's true that hydrogen is a major challenge. You know how much countries are now counting on hydrogen. Bruno Le Maire had also launched a hydrogen project in France with millions and millions. So that means people are now being attracted to this new movement in hydrogen. So how are you different from all the others? How are you different from your competition with your innovation? Well, we are providing our plasma technology. For us, the main competition is electrolyzers. Electrolyzers are being developed, and they are 10 years ahead of us, but their major setback is that they are all based on a single source of energy, which is electricity, and the need for electricity, which is increasing, cheap and decarbonated. Now, today, however, Germany knows it cannot provide enough electricity for its entire electric consumption for hydrogen. It'll have to import at least 80%. And so you need an alternative which would be less consumptive of electricity, and for the end user, finally, it's the price that matters. So in the future, if electricity is not at €20 a megawatt hour, today it's at 70, the electrolyzer costs a lot more. And so if you really want energy transition, you need an energy mix between electricity with a lot less electricity, but using gas, like what we are proposing. Thank you so much for everything that you're proposing, and thanks for your explanation. Thanks very much, Erwan. Thanks very much. So in fact, the entire challenge is about raising funds, and today startups need money. They need funding to develop further, and that is why I'm turning to you, Sean Wright.
Yes, I can hear you. Hi.
Hi, do you see me? I can see you. Yes, we're here. Yourself, alors vous investissez.
Now you're investing essentially in startups which are keen on environmental transformation.
What is it? Exactly, when you finance, how do you choose the startups in green tech?
Well, we're looking for things that solve big problems. And as a global Fortune 500 company, sustainability is at the core of our goals. And therefore, if we can find startups that solve a big problem in a way that we can use in our production or for our customers, that has real potential for us. Obviously, the deal needs to make sense financially, but really, we need to satisfy the core goals.
But today, you say to make sense, there are so many projects that in green tech can make sense. How do you find the ones that you want to follow and the ones that you wait to follow?
Let me just tell you, we have within our company, we actually have a full team dedicated to sustainability, and we participate in various accelerator programs, for example, through Techstars or Greentown Labs, where we already get a lot of good deal flow. But I have to say, this was very interesting today. For example, the solution that I saw from Neolithe was something that I haven't seen before, but frankly, this is a problem that we've been interested in for a while. So actually, I'm going to follow up and request the pitch deck.
Yeah, you're going to follow up the first one. But the second one was great too, about hydrogen.
Anyway,
I thought it was too.
Exceptional company, exceptional idea. I thought it was great.
Well, just a last word maybe. You're actually in Frankfurt, right? How do you see what is happening here in Paris-Saclay? What kind of signal do you see from what's happening here in France about all this movement, this dynamic?
You know, I think Paris-Saclay is one of the best events I've been to. I came a couple years ago when it was last held in person, and I met very many relevant startups, relevant for us, and so many companies with great technologies. And I think it is really one of the best, innovation hubs and clusters in, within France and in Europe. It's a very dynamic place. So that's why I wanted to participate today.
Thank you. Thank you for being with us, even you're far away.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for being here. Thank you, Sean Wright, and see you. Don't forget to vote for one of those who have pitched right now, but for those who are going to come later in the day. Thank you.
So that was the very first session, of pitch, which was on green techs, and there'll be several others also right through the day, and we are really counting on you with Marjorie to be able to vote and select the startup which you feel is the most convincing and which will receive your prize. Now, Marjorie, we talked about green tech and decarbonization, which is a fundamental issue today. Now, you have with you certain players who are concentrating on how to handle intermittence. Now, intermittence today in decarbonation.